Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we are able to see the full screen only, sir.
Yes. Sorry for all this inconvenience.
No. I suggest that you once try to change the slide also, so that we don't have any intermittent problems. Meanwhile, our participants are coming back. Yes, sir. This is fine, sir. This is fine.
So whenever you want me to start, I will start.
Yes, we have given 5 minutes break because
I think now because 102 participants are already there.
Yes,
I think please introduce Pankaj Gupta sir to them.
Yeah, and we can start, you know.
Ma'am, I'm muting all the participants from my end. You please unmute your mic and then start.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So welcome back all the participants for the second lecture of the third day series of IoT FDP program. Today I'm very fortunate to introduce you Pankaj Gupta. He is CEO Zero Square Energy Solution Private Limited, and he happens to be my batchmate. I'm very proud that he is my batchmate, and he's doing very well. And he's based in Agra and Noida. He has office in Noida. So Pankaj has founded the company Zero Square Energy Solution Private Limited in 2014 with the aim of achieving near zero energy consumption in buildings. So very, very important target, and his role is going to be in future. With over 29-year industrial experience, including working in leadership position in Tran, Dubai and India, in Jersol, Rand, India, including country head, and as a managing director of the Indian office of the Canadian company Energy Advantage. He is also joint secretary of environmental NGO SEPA, Society for Prevention of a Healthy Environment, Ecology and Heritage of Agra. Pankaj is also advisor for PFC, Power Finance Corporation Consulting Limited. Pankaj started his career as a management trainee with Voltas Limited, Mumbai in 1991. Today, Pankaj is the CEO and founder of Zero Square Energy Solution Private Limited, which provides expert design and build services for air conditioning system and rooftop solar system. Pankaj has a master in energy and environmental management from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, IIT Delhi, and a Bachelor of Engineering from MITS, Gwalior, and a Diploma in Marketing Management from the Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies, Mumbai. Welcome, Pankaj. He has a very wide experience in industry, and he is working on a very relevant topic because we all are talking about the smart cities and smart management and low consumption and demand side load management, especially in buildings. So he is CEO of a company who is doing consulting solutions for this very major problem of India. So I welcome you, Pankaj. Please start your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Chapta and Priyanka, for first of all apologizing for the inconvenience caused at the beginning, and thanks for my introduction and telling that we were graduates in MITS Gwalior. And when people contacted me that I should be giving a presentation to this IoT forum, I was a little bit scared because IoT is not my field. IoT is what I use and as an application to reduce energy consumption of building. So I am a user of IoT, not a developer of IoT. So my contribution to this particular forum, which I believe is academicians, research scholars, and a few industry practitioners as well, would be that how they can kind of zero down their buildings, and that too in a building HVAC system. HVAC is nothing but heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So in the next 45 minutes or 50 minutes or 1 hour, whatever time you allotted me, I'm going to cover focused approach of IoT applications and HVAC, and that may uncover certain areas for you to think over how to use IoT. Because ultimately in the world, IoT or artificial intelligence is increasing. People are also saying that machine learning will somehow supersede human intelligence, which I tend to disagree. Unless we ourselves are equipped enough to use IoT for our advantage. In my case, I would say how IoT can help reducing my building energy consumption is my goal. So that's the kind of premise which I'll be talking. I heard Tripta's presentation, last presentation, where she has covered entire gamut of distribution systems, which she talked about demand response, smart grids, and things like that. So when we look at, I'll first introduce what we are. Historically, I started this company where we are providing air conditioning system, indoor air quality systems, and as air conditioning systems are a consumption device, so we integrated with solar systems so that people are able to save energy at the same time where they are consuming energy. Our company is into sectors like healthcare, hospitality, commercial, industrial, and residential, and again focused on HVAC and solar. We have a plethora of customers, which I will skip. In this presentation, we are brand partners of Carrier, which is an inventor of air conditioners, and it's a 150 years old company. So in this presentation, I will use certain slides of Automated Logic, which is a manufacturer of IoT controllers, building automation systems, as well as air conditioning equipments. We are also partners with a startup company which has been very successful in implementing IoT for these commercial buildings is Joules, Smart Joules. So their slides will also be used, and I think few of their colleagues have also joined this presentation. How IoT has made difference in HVAC world is what I'm going to cover. So before we start any presentation, the question which comes in our mind is, what is the purpose of IoT or what it offers? So this is my perception that when we see air conditioning industry or any industry, when you say that IoT is able to connect the isolated systems into one, where devices were equipped with various sensors and now they are interconnected. I often give an example of, the way any sciences or any field is becoming more independent in terms of knowledge base. So in a hospital, there were few doctors. One was a gynecologist, one was a anesthesiologist, one was a pediatrician. They were all going in a lift. And they reached from ground floor to the 5th floor, but they were not able to talk because you see the fields have become so big that there is no interdisciplinary connections. So what IoT is giving is, it is giving intelligence to each and every field, communicate and take benefit of individual systems to reduce energy, to do some predictive maintenance, and various other benefits, which I'll be talking about in a few slides coming forward. So what it is IoT is doing, it is embedding intelligence and connectivity into devices, which enables manufacturers to make better use of their assets. In our case, I will use the example of Carrier, which is embedding intelligence into their air conditioning machines. So this is the manufacturer's perspective, that by providing embedded system, they are able to offer their product to a different community, to a different business model. But what about the clients? The clients or the purchaser? The purchaser will be able to use those IoT benefits for better comfort, more functionality, and reduced energy bills. So IoT is able to provide at one point a benefit to the manufacturer and also benefit to the client and benefit to the environment, because ultimately by reducing energy bill, you are able to provide lesser carbon footprint. As I think Gupta also covered certain points which I would like to repeat, is the way IoT industry is growing. I think you gave some investment of 70 billion or some huge amount of investment coming in IoT field. And as the 108 participants who are there in this group are from the academic background, and ultimately they will be producing research papers or they will be doing in the industry. The idea is that how they can bring IoT usage world, because ultimately whatever research you do, if it benefits the commercial business point of view, it is more heard. So my point is that in this 45 minutes, if you look at the HVAC industry and connect it to whatever you're studying IoT in technical world, and see how you can relate these simple things to our industry, and then maybe do some simulation, do some analytics, do some kind of research paper on building industry in particular. Because if you take any commercial building, for example, if you take an example of an hospital, if you are talking about a hospital, they consume energy of around a large hospital like Max Hospital in Delhi. Max Hospital in Delhi, a large hospital, spends around 40 to 50 crore of rupees annually on electricity bill. So you can imagine that how saving 5% of saving 10% of energy bills using IoT, which is very much possible and which has been shown by the company like Carrier and company like Smart Joules. They have shown that by using IoT, they were able to bring down energy bills by around 20%. 20% of 50 crore is like 10 crore they are able to save annually is a big amount. So if you can confine your energy, confine your research paper on building energy and use IoT, because we are still in a very nascent stage of using IoT technology in building sector. It is being widely used in smart cities and all, but particularly focus on buildings has yet not happened, and it is moving on. So IoT is again, to my knowledge, is giving cognition to your static objects. For example, in a building, we use chillers. Chillers provide the air conditioning, chilled water to the building user. For example, if you go to a hotel, when you must have stayed in a 3-star or 5-star hotel. When you go to a hotel room, what you do is you enter your room with a card key, and you will find that the air conditioning system, which is on a vestibule near your wash area, has started and giving you cold air. Or some of the hotels also start your room air conditioners half an hour before your arrival. So it is giving a cognition. That particular device or that particular air conditioning equipment, which is sitting above the false ceiling, which is not visible to you, and you as a customer, because you are paying 10,000 rupees for staying in that hotel, you want that the moment I reach, I should be able to get a comfortable temperature. I should be able to get good humidity, and I should feel comfortable because I've paid money. But look at it from a user perspective, from a provider perspective. He's giving you air conditioning because you have paid the money, but at the same time he's spending crores of rupees on an energy bill. And that particular equipment, which is lying above his false ceiling, has no intelligence that it can communicate that my guest is arriving at 10:15, and he has a pre-scheduled software which is giving that, okay, half an hour before you start. Or IoT device to that particular unit which is providing you air conditioning, probably I'll be able to eliminate certain waste of energy. I'll be able to start that unit the moment you will click your card, or moment your mobile, which is also the moment you enter the lift lobby, and your mobile, which is interconnected, giving information to the cloud that this guest has already booked in particular room number, and it will start that unit probably only 5 minutes before you are entering. So saving 25 minutes, which was a scheduled program for the hotel, is saved 25 minutes. So these are just giving you certain cognition benefits by which IoT is going to bring a lot of energy efficiency or reduced energy bills. So as I said, IoT and HVAC, we are still in the first wave of IoT revolution. It has reached very advanced stages in what Tripta covered, that is smart grids and smart cities. Now, if you see, for example, smart cities, what they are doing, IoT is a platform where they are connecting CCTVs. Agra is also a smart city. Noida is also a smart city. Pune, Indore. To my knowledge, I think IoT has been applied at present to their traffic management and their CCTV systems and things like that to provide what is happening around in the city, how we can improve traffic congestions. But there are many areas which are still left untouched. So once I remember the demand response was also covered by you, Tripta, but demand response has still not been tariff in certain part of India and single tariff structure of energy in many parts of India. So once we enter into a demand response era, which probably in 3-4 years or 5 years it is going to come up, your devices, your air conditioning, your home appliances have to be built in with IoT devices so that they are able to be intelligent enough to start as per the lowest tariffs available during the day. So these revolutions, these changes are going to come, and better we be prepared and start manufacturing industries, the applicators and system integrators like us are already started using it. People ask us as HVAC experts, what's the future of HVAC? And we often tell them that it's all about smart devices, interpreting and measuring their environment and responding accordingly. So it is a very simple answer that we say smart devices. It's very easy to say that we are living in a smart city, but how well we understand those smartness, how well we understand those components of smartness. Just by saying that we are building up Agra as a smart city or Pune as a smart city doesn't serve the purpose unless we all as industry experts, you all as academics are working towards making that smart a real smart. Using the IoT in such a way that it is sustainable, not that we put the smart CCTV system and after 2 years it is not working or it is not utilized the way it should be utilized. So the point is that IoT is good technology, it's good application usage, and a sustainable usage is also very important. So your all research paper or research programs which you do should have certain aspect of how sustainable that technology will be, how your programs are going to change, how those algorithms which you develop are going to change during the life cycle of the systems, so that the benefits which it is designed for are accrued over its life cycle. So I'll come to the technical part of IoT as far as our industry, which is HVAC, is there. I hope I'm audible, right? Priyanka, you are?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. You are audible.
I'm not looking at the chat things. So maybe I'll cover once this presentation is over.
Yes, sir, that would be good. Question.
So automated logic is the controls part of Carrier Corporation. Carrier Corporation is around $30-40 billion company of USA, and Carrier invented air conditioning systems in 150 years back. And Automated Logic is the company which provides the IoT platform, the manufacturer IoT equipment. If you see on the right-hand side of the slide, these are the kind of networks or the controllers which gets connected in a building. I don't know, whenever you have gone to any building, large building, have you ever gone on the roof or basement of any building? If it is a water-cooled system, which is providing heat transfer between water and the refrigerant, then the air conditioning equipment sits on the basement. If it is an air-cooled system, then the air conditioning equipment sits on the rooftop. So next time, you being a research scholar or whenever you go to any building facility, large building facility, then you find some time to go to the rooftop and see the air conditioning equipment which is on the roof. Now that particular air conditioning equipment is called the chiller. The chiller is what it is, around 1,000-ton chiller or a 500-ton chiller, or maybe a network of 500 tons chiller, which is cooling your building. Now that particular equipment is a guzzler of energy. When I say guzzler, if it is a 500-ton chiller and there are 5 chillers, that means 2,500 tons of air conditioning. It is consuming around 3,000 kilowatts of electricity. So if its usage is 24-hour facility, you can imagine what kind of electricity it is consuming and what it means to save energy for that particular building operator. Now, the moment you move down from the building rooftop to the particular floor, if it is a hotel, you move down to your kitchen area, you move down to banquet area, or you move down to the rooms area. If you see, there are certain air handling units which delivers air to your room. If it is a hospital, there are operation theaters, and operation theaters are also equipped with a very sophisticated air conditioning system, which again is getting chilled water from the roof, from where you are traveling down to the 6th floor or 5th floor. So all this loop is a hydraulic loop of chilled water. Now, when we are talking to IoT, the IoT is that each of these devices, which is an air conditioning equipment sitting on the roof or in the operation theater or in the guest room of your hotel, all these are fitted with a control device manufactured by companies like Johnson Controls, Honeywell, or many other companies. These devices are built in or kind of fitted with a IoT device which is controlling that particular equipment, and at the same time it is giving those collected data of air quality or occupancy to the cloud. And the cloud is getting all those information and making decisions based on the logics you have put in, that how well I have to behave, that my guest or my occupant is getting the temperature which it wants, at the same time saving energy. So this is just showing you a network of how buildings are connected. Now this is the HVAC network. The same thing is you connect other things of the building, which I'll cover in the next slides. So what exactly is IoT bringing to me? Having connected IoT devices of Automated Logic has made a good sale for the company and made a good smart device for that particular hotel owner to say that I am smart, I have connected, I have spent 5 crore rupees in making my building smart. But ultimately, does it serve any purpose? The purpose is that it is measuring the condition in real time, and it is modeling that and giving you a predictive analytics. When I say predictive analytics, there's many meanings. it is, I think, a subject by itself, that how I'm covering the the loop algorithms and giving the information in a real-time manner that is able to tell my building that I will be, I'll show. This is the slide. If you see this slide, your IoT devices are telling you at 8 o'clock in the morning that by 8 p.m. you will be on this particular graph of power consumption, which is a yellow line on this particular slide. And as a good operator, you wanted all your day operation to be below the green line. And that is how you have forecasted your power consumption. You have forecasted to your building owner that I will be consuming 50 crore of energy this year. If you are going on the yellow curve, you will end up 52 crore, and probably you will either be getting fired from your owner that why did you spend 2 crore more than your forecast. So IoT is giving you a solution that before your day starts and your operator is able to see that my forecast is going to be this, he starts working with his team to bring down those yellow components below green line. So ultimately that facility engineer or the maintenance engineer or manager is working during his daytime that by 6 p.m. his energy bill should not shoot up above the green line. So that's the logic. I also like this particular slide, which is giving you a comparison. If it's kind of an analogy between when you see a car, when you're driving a car, and you're seeing its speedometer, which is giving you a metering of at what speed are you driving. So we can question that, does that speedometer is giving you any, telling you that you are driving at 70? It is not. It is not telling you anything that you are driving too fast or you are driving too slow, because it's a subjective thing. If I am a young driver, I would probably be driving 100, and for me it is cool. But if I am of my age and I say, better to drive safe, which is at 70, and for me that is the optimum speed. So this metering of the speedometer of the car is not telling whether I'm driving too fast or too slow. And IoT is a similar thing. When you connect energy meter and connecting your real-time data and adding intelligence to it, it is telling that operator that, Mr. Facility Manager, you are consuming too much of energy. Your speed limit is 50. It is 50 kilowatt hours. By this time, you have consumed 100 kilowatt hours. You're going to get firing from your director engineering. So IoT predictive analytics feature is helping you to give intelligence and able to control what you would have realized at the end of the day that, oh my God, I spent more energy than I was supposed to. So it is allowing you to take premature decisions, which is for the good of the facility. So I will connect certain historical perspective that IoT is a new thing, but it doesn't mean that the industry like ours or any other industry was not equipped with automation. Automation is a very old thing. I think it existed for 60, 70 years. 40 years, in fact, for last 25, 30 years, I myself is seeing building automation systems in the buildings. So the building automation systems, and it is providing controls. The industry moved in last 15, 20 years from building automation to building energy management systems. When they said that the building, apart from HVAC, which is consuming around 70% of your building energy consumption, if it is 100 100 kilowatt hour consumption, 65 units were consumed by HVAC. But what about 15%, which is light? So the companies developed building energy management systems. The building energy management systems provided an insight apart from air conditioning to lighting and other things. And this is the area where a lot of companies are working who are non-core areas, like Johnson Controls, Siemens, Honeywell, Schneider, Carrier. These are the big manufacturers of HVAC controls. But in this particular energy management space, there are software as SaaS companies. Then there are certain other non-related companies can also enter in this space. Why I'm trying to say is that though you are a research scholar and air conditioning is not your field, but this is the space where you can become an entrepreneur, or you can become research. You can do some research on this particular topic. Then came, so this is what I was saying, that this building energy management systems has analytics, SaaS, and continuous commissioning. All these demand response and all these are a part of this. Then came another thing called integrated building management systems. So this came around 10, 15 years. Building, and a fire happened in that building. And the fire, when the root cause of the fire was to be arrived, the fire, which was an independent system, fire alarm system, there is an independent system called CCTV system, then there is an independent system called HVAC system. And when the fire authorities came and they said, what was the cause of the fire? Each started finger pointing each other. They said, this is because of the air conditioning. The air conditioning guy said, this is because the fire didn't trigger when it was supposed to. And the CCTV was saying that, I was looking at that particular zone, but probably because of this particular communication failure, this happened. So there was finger pointing in the industry that all three were talking. It is like the similar example which I gave in the beginning, that a pediatrician, an anesthesiologist, and a gynecologist being in the lift. They were not talking to each other because they were not interconnected. They were very good in their field, but they were not interconnected, interdisciplinary. So all these BMS, IBMS, energy management systems, they're all independent and catered by independent large companies, billion-dollar companies, in their research and development going around in their respective fields, but not connected, was not good for the customer. So now came the IoT, which is your Internet of Things, which is doing nothing but some of all these which has been happening in the last 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. IoT is bringing a new revolution to the building industry by connecting those independent systems and making them talk wirelessly and making them talk benefit of all. Now, if you look from a business perspective, research perspective is fine. But what about the business perspective? Is when BIoT or IoT is going to take over in the next 5 years, do you mean that all these historical things, the old is not going to be good? Or these businesses are going to close down? No, the answer is no. What BIoT is going to do, or the way I understand probably the manufacturers are working towards that. If you see building automation control system industry, that is going to grow vertically and going to include and continuously develop their DDC controllers, direct digital controllers, energy management systems. So all these independent systems are going to grow vertically, at the same time horizontally, to get interconnected, provide wireless connectivity, provided IoT embedded systems. So you can imagine when Tripta told that $70 billion or $80 billion, how that growth is going to come. The growth is going to come this way. That parallelly all these three things are going to go. At the same time, there will be a convergence because of IoT. So on a macro level, there is a micro level development and there is a macro level development which is going to boost the industry to a newer heights. This is the right time when, as a research scholar, or if you want to enter into a business segment, that you develop your capabilities and understand the niche area where you want to go. It's going to be too huge, which you can't cover. Demand response, smart grids, IoT. So these are going to be specialized IoT. So what interests you, what gives you your passion, where you're passionate about, you identify and then work on it. Now moving on from the manufacturer, which was Automated Logic, part of the Carrier Corporation, of which we are also channel partners of, I'll move on to a few slides of Smart Joules. Smart Joules Private Limited has been started by a very young entrepreneur called Pankaj Gupta, and he has won many awards of Government of India in energy conservation. And he, as a founder, is also from MIT, graduate, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and he brought a very good concept in an Indian market of energy services company. ESCO as a model was not so successful, although it started. And I was also, when I was working for a company called Train, I was part of the Bureau of Energy Efficiency team in 2007 and 8 when the concept of ESCO had started in India. And at that point of time, we were given certain facilities that you work on this, but that model didn't succeed because of certain inherent kind of deformations within the system. But this company, Smart Joules, had made it happen. And what he is doing is he's focusing right now in the hospital sector, which is a constant air conditioning load, and his customers, which are listed on the right side of the slide. And these all customers were having energy bills in crores. And the Smart Joules was able to bring energy down by around 20% using IoT. So this is what giving them a lot of awards. I'll independently connect with their team, although we are also representing as a channel partner for them. So what it is doing? What is Smart Joules doing? Smart Joules has developed their own independent IoT devices and IoT systems, which is not sold as a product, but it is used for their own in-house projects to save customers energy efficiency. So what it is doing is it is adding intelligence to each of these chillers or air handling units. As I said, if you move down from the roof of the building down to the basement, you are confronted with many of the air conditioning devices on your journey from roof to the basement. All those devices then connected to the IoT devices and talking to the cloud and talking to the intelligent controllers and developing algorithms to continuously improve is what they do. In this slide, you're seeing those equipments on the bottom are the cooling towers. The cooling towers, if you must be, observant and you go on the roof, you will see a lot of big towers, which is just evaporating water and, providing evaporative cooling. What it does is it provides heat transfer between the refrigerant or the condenser of the refrigerant to the water, which is evaporated using the 4 fans. So what it is doing is it is using the wet bulb temperature of air by which you are bringing down the temperature of the water. So it has its own limit. Like, you use your desert. Now in desert cooler, in a desert climate, in a tropical climate like North India, you're able to bring temperatures up to 28, 29, and you're comfortable, but not in monsoon. So these cooling towers are able to bring your temperature to a certain limit, which is we in our industry call it approach temperatures. Now, those approach temperature is, if you are monitoring that approach temperature, you're monitoring the ambient wet bulb temperature, and you're monitoring your chiller efficiencies, and you are able to correlate those various data and develop an algorithm with the idea of providing uninterrupted operation of the facility, at the same time energy. And that is what this smart joules is doing, or that is what many companies are doing by when it says how they are using IoT. So this is again those slides which is telling how schedule preventive maintenance, consumption, run hour violation, set points. For example, if I relate with this lockdown, during this lockdown, when it started in March, you must have heard, or you must have seen even on the NDTV, that people were worried that should they be starting air conditioners or not. Some people said, air conditioning should not be used because this particular virus, COVID-19 virus, which is of a size of 0.1 micron, is airborne. Some said no, it is on the surface. So the air conditioning industry, which is governed by Indian Society of Heating and Refrigerating and Air Conditioning Engineers, of which I am also a part of, we all got together. It was formed and a guideline was developed. Now, imagine that when people left offices, when the lockdown was declared, and large facilities in Gurgaon, large facilities in cities like Noida, Mumbai, their systems were to be switched off. And those systems are large systems. Once it is switched off, and to start now again in May, when the lockdown in certain offices have opened, to start, it requires a lot of work, so some offices were even not able to shut down the systems properly. Had that been connected with certain intelligence automation systems, intelligent enough to be operated in such a way, like those office buildings, which are, imagine if you're working in an office which has air coming from a certain unit, and the same air is, if you're sitting in a cabin X and a cabin Y, which is your boss, is also getting the air from the same particular air handling unit. The concern during this time was that if this COVID-19 is an airborne, which actually it is, but it is such a lighter particle that unless it is stuck to a bigger particle, it cannot travel by air, only falls on the surface. So, and if your systems are equipped with good filtration systems, it's able to capture that. Now, post-COVID, the strategy for building owners or even you as a user for a house is that you should give good amount of fresh air into your room. Earlier, my air conditioner is on, please shut down all the windows and doors. I don't want any outside air to come in, which will enhance my energy bill. And we as a practitioners, the industry tells that at least 10% in any space should be fresh air. And that's how the systems are designed. But when the owner has pressure of energy bill, what it does is it closes the fresh air dampers. They used to close the fresh air dampers, and it has been happening. It's a very hard fact that people in majority, 90% of the buildings were closing fresh air dampers so that my bill, because fresh air is at 45 degrees centigrade. Your room air is at 24 degrees centigrade. When you're pumping in air of 45 degrees, it is going to reduce your energy bill to cool that down, whether it is 10% or 15%. But now people are so scared post-COVID that unless fresh air is there, for example, if that 0.1 micron is airborne, by sticking to a bigger particle of 0.4 micron, it has come into the air path and it has come to your air stream. And it is, unless it is diluted by fresh air, it is going to infect you. So the guideline is that there has to be minimum 15%, 10 to 15%. There are certain rules or certain calculation methods has to be there. So now people are opening up those fresh air damper. They're making sure that that provision of fresh air is maintained. Now, why I'm giving you that connection with COVID is, if that particular damper which had been closed, that just was to meet the design criteria, was lying there with a manual damper, had that been fitted with an actuator, and that actuator is then fitted with an IoT intelligence and was connected to your web server, then before moving on to your building, I could have opened that damper and allowed the fresh air to come to my air stream, so it purged the whole air. So what it will allow is, in next 1 or 2 years, you see, the COVID is not going to go away. It's going to remain. Now the buildings industry has to change. It has to change to not only reduce its energy cost, but at the same time meeting the standards, because you are risking the human life. So it doesn't mean that by IoT and by giving intelligence to your demand control ventilation, you can still meet the standards requirement, at the same time focus on energy efficiency. So this is just to give you a kind of a perspective of how intelligence on devices can meet the standards, can help us in changing times. Nobody had estimated that this is going to happen, things like that. When a virus is going to change the way we live, change the way we talk, change the way we do social distancing. Similar way, probably IoT is going to take over, and IoT is, unless the machine learning becomes big enough that it takes over human intelligence, which should not. So we should be, as a good human being, should develop IoT algorithms in such a way that we use IoT or machine language or machine learning, whatever you call, in such artificial to the humanity, and we make use of this technology for the benefits which we want it to do. Our objective is to be defined that I want IoT application for predictive analytics, for energy efficiency, for increasing the lifespan of my equipment. So your objective is to be very clear. So this is it. What I would do is so I've tried to give a perspective of from the manufacturing perspective to the client's perspective to your academic perspective and from a business perspective. Now I'm open to take the questions. Hello?
Hello? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
yes,
from my side, this is it. And I'm
okay, sir.
To questions if you have.
Okay, so participants, do you have any questions? So that, if you have any queries, Pankaj sir would be happy to address your queries. Any queries from participants? You can also mail the queries if you want. You can also mail the queries to him. Whenever he finds time, I'm sure he would be